Welcome. Thank you for joining me as I chat about one of our most incredible gifts that we have as human beings, and that is choice. Now, I'm sure you've heard many other people in the community talk about this. I'm going to perhaps offer a little bit of a different spin on this topic. Now, many of you, I'm sure, have heard of our power, our will, our right to choose. And this is applicable to many areas in our life. This applies to many different areas. And really, when we think of choice, we can think of many things like choosing to apply for a job, choosing to move to a certain location, choosing to be in a certain relationship. But the choice that I'm going to go into is very subtle and it's very, very particular. So it does require a lot of attention. It requires a lot of work and a lot of focus. And it is the choice to be in a certain emotional state. It is the choice to be in a certain mindset. It is the choice to be in a certain belief. And this is part of our transformational process. And it is easier said than done sometimes. So I'm going to tread very lightly with this because I just want to offer some guidance and even just bring in some awareness into how you can use this for yourself throughout your day. And when we are in a certain mindset throughout the day, we lose sight and we lose the ability to choose to stay in it or get out of it. We choose to stay in a certain mind frame or reframe it into something more positive. And oftentimes we get very habitually stuck in a certain way of thinking, a certain perception, even reliving stories from the past, maybe becoming emotionally affected by something and reliving that emotion over and over again, or allowing that emotion to really come in and take over. So that emotion takes over, and then we just find ourselves lost in that emotion, or we find ourselves lost in that train of thought. So I do invite you to check in daily. It is work, but this is going to be hugely transformative for you. And it is that power of choice to be sovereign of our old belief systems, our old programming, our old habits, our old emotions, our old attachments to the past, and really check in and see where the mind is at. And we all do this. And we're trying to work through this. And this is part of our process of coming out of an old paradigm, completely transforming. So we're going through this process. A lot of us out there, if you're watching this video, you probably are as well, going through this process of transformation, of shedding the old and moving into the new. And it is a process. And this is one of the most powerful tools that you can use and that you can practice that will help you unprogram or dismantle the old and start moving into what you want to create and stepping into your authentic self, into your power, remembering who you are, shedding the old, moving into something far more expansive. And a lot of it has to do with our choice of where we want to put our mindset. And when we're going through really difficult times, it's so easy to fall back into old patterns of thoughts. I'm never going to get out of this. I'm struggling. I hate my life. Why did this person do this to me? Where am I going? I have no idea what's going on. Am I going to last here forever? These things that we get stuck in, these loops, we stay there. We can tend to stay there for a long time, days, weeks, months, years. But the more that we can be aware of what our mind is telling us, it ends up controlling our experience completely. And it takes time and it takes effort to be on it and to continually stop. No, I'm not going to go down that mindset. I'm not going to keep repeating these same stories, these same thoughts. I'm going to reframe it. So one of the practices in the Moon Manifestation program that I lead is subconscious reprogramming. Now, it only comes up during the last quarter, but you can do this anytime. And it's very, very powerful. So it takes, I believe it's 60 days, if I'm right, to integrate habits into our system, into our subconscious. It takes time, but this does work. and it's worked for me. So I'm sending it to you. So if you find yourself in negative mindset, or if you find yourself repeating the same things over and over again, catch yourself. What are you thinking? What are you telling yourself? What are you telling the world? What are you telling people about you? What are you telling yourself about yourself? Are you reliving something of the past? Are you having a conversation to yourself about something of the past or something with someone? Catch yourself. And then try to flip it into a positive, because our mind loves to live in that. Our mind creates the emotion creates our reality. It's a trigger. Then it just keeps looping and looping over and over again. But we have the choice to stop it. We have a choice to, again, reframe it. So if you find yourself living in this story or going into the same patterns or feelings or belief systems, and belief system also, and I should clarify, belief system has very much to do with lack mindset, confidence, abundance blocks, money blocks, perceptions on success, on worth, on wealth, on self-care, self-love, relationships. There are many, many layers to this. So I'm trying to simplify as much as possible. So if you find yourself in a certain pattern, and I also challenge you to even just check in on a regular basis. Okay, where do I tend to fall into with regards to maybe love, with regards to relationships, with regards to my reactions to things, my mindset? What do I fall back on? Do I tend to do a certain thing around my home that is habitual, that I haven't even noticed before, or even when I'm out in public with people, or even my mindset, that's something that can change into a positive light, into something that's healthy, into something productive, into something that's easier on me, on you. So do check in on that. Do check in with yourself. If there are any patterns that you might find yourself in, mindset, feelings, even just, again, even with the body, like self-care, diet, nutrition, exercise, love, self-love, your perception on yourself, your perception with other people, your relationship dynamics. So can you flip anything into a positive? For example, I use this often. There was a time where I felt like I wasn't being supported by the universe. I was very angry. I was very resentful. I was very upset. I just felt like my life was never going to change. And we have to remember that life does change, but it's up to us to make that change happen. Everything is energy. And if we get stuck in a mindset where we're locked in, nothing's changing, my life is miserable, down that negative mindset and staying there, we're going to stay there until we choose to get out of it, until we choose to make that change. So check in on any level. Does anything need to change? Mindset, emotions, habits, the way of looking at things, the way of looking at your life, the way of looking at relationships. Again, perception is huge. Change it into a positive. So like I said, when I was in this mode, I was locked in it, and I could have stayed there for years. I probably did stay there for a long time, probably months or years before I even realized what I was saying to myself. It was so habitual, it was so ingrained in my system that no wonder things were falling apart left, right, and center. No wonder I was attracting toxic relationships. No wonder I was doing it to myself, essentially. And so I had to start to be proactive and reassess my mindset and look at where can I make improvements. This is not working. It's not healthy. It's not helping me. So one of the things that I kept saying is that I'm not being supported by the universe. I had to write it down, crossed it out, wrote down, I am being supported by the universe. This is never going to change, cross it out. Things are changing. And the ego will want to go back into the old mindset. It's familiar. It becomes ingrained. It's not healthy. But there's something inside here that if you've been in this mindset or been in a certain mindset for a while, it becomes very familiar. And again, the body craves this loop that you're in. It feeds your system in an unhealthy way. The devil card in tarot, essentially, right? So it is very much of addressing these mindsets and these stories and these beliefs and these perceptions on every little area in our life. And we can address them and look at them in a way of, okay, how do I change that into a positive? How do I reframe my mindset? How do I rewire my brain, essentially, right? How do I reprogram my subconscious? It's constant effort, check in. What if I fail? What if I succeed? It is that simple. And keep saying it to yourself. I am being supported by the universe. What if I do succeed? Things are changing. And you say this to yourself and the energy changes. There's going to be a part of you that might want to go back. There's going to be resistance, going back into the familiar, going back into the old. You have to keep on it. And I can tell you to this day, and I've mentioned this before to my moon group, my manifestation programs, today I haven't had one thought where I've told myself that I'm not being supported by the universe. I know I'm being supported by the universe. My mindset has changed. It took a long time to get there, to get here, but this is the work that we need to do. And once we focus on here and change this, then everything else is going to start to change. Everything else is going to reflect what's happened here, because this is the center of all of our creation, of all of our manifestation, of what we want to attract and what we want to send out into the universe. So we have a choice to stay in certain mindset or not, to make a change or not. It's up to us. It's up to you to change that mindset, to change that habit, to change the emotion, to create change. So I do hope that is resonating. I do hope that is finding you at the perfect time when you need it most, and offering you some guidance through your manifestation journey. I'll be seeing you soon. Take care.